大家敢信吗？在刚刚结束的印度国家级 AI 峰会上，20国元首在场，谷歌 CEO 站台，结果全场的风头竟然被一只中国狗给抢了。这不是骂人啊，是真事儿。印度一所知名大学拿着一台淘宝上卖1600美元的中国语数科技机器狗，连中文名牌都没撕干净，就敢说是自己自主研发的猎户座，还被印度部长点赞转发。但这还不是最离谱的。当这个闹剧被扒皮后，一位了解印度的专家直接开喷，这算啥？在印度，一切都是闹剧，他们连圆珠笔都造不出来，拿什么跟中国比？甚至他还说了一句让全场沉默的金句：中国地铁安检员的训练水平都比印度军队高。欢迎来到阿欣的茶水间。这到底是怎么回事？印度所谓的 AI 大国梦，难道真的只是一场精心包装的骗局吗？别眨眼，今天我们就来深度复盘这场让14亿印度人破防的现行记。
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geopolitical Trends, where truth matters. Imagine this, flying in 20 heads of state and the CEOs of Google and OpenAI and others to showcase the country's AI so-called prowess. And then getting upstaged by a $1,600 Chinese robot dog, someone slapped a new name on it. And that's exactly what happened in New Delhi a few days ago. So we asked the key question, how embarrassing is this? Are Indians, some of them in the government, inherently scammers? Galgotia University, a private institution in India, was booted out from Artificial Intelligence Summit in New Delhi that took place a few days ago, after one of its staffers, so-called Professor Neha Singh, told state-run broadcaster DD News that robotic dog Orion was developed by the Center of Excellence at the university. So she displayed a commercially available robotic dog made in China, claiming it was the university's own innovation.
This has been developed by the Center of Excellence at the Galgotias University.
Following backlash, Galgotias University has been instructed to clear its booth on Wednesday at the India AI Impact Summit in New Delhi. The controversy started after the university showcased a robotic dog at the event, claiming that it was created by its Center of Excellence. Internet users soon pointed out that the machine matched the Unitary Go-To built by a Chinese firm. While speaking to Doordarshan, a representative of the university, Neha Singh, said that the quadruped robot under the name Orion is developed in their campus.
Orion, you need to meet Orion, and this has been developed by the Center of Excellence at the Galgotias University.
The claim caused major embarrassment as internet user and several media outlets that covered Chinese and Eurasian news slammed the AI exhibit from the Galgotias University, calling it a sham. They underlined that the university was showcasing Unitary Go-To, which is a ready-made robotic dog manufactured by the Chinese firm Unitary Robotics. Basically, the university presented an imported technology as a homegrown product. Later, the university issued a clarification on X, stating that the robotic dog had been acquired from Unitary and was being used solely for academic purposes. The institution maintained that it had not claimed to have manufactured the robot, even though statements made by the staff at the event suggested otherwise.
The reality of the Indian situation is that everything is a farce, everything is a lie. The only way you can rise up in life in that country is by scamming the system and by telling lies. There's no way you can achieve anything in that country without lying and without scamming. And the biggest scammer here is the government of India. The whole AI show was a farce. The reality is that, David, I went to a North Korean embassy many years back, and every book in that room was written by Kim Jong-il. And similar situation is happening today in India. It seems that every good thing is done by Modi. All of the AI progress in the world is happening because of Narendra Modi. And this show was a way to convince the Indian masses, particularly the so-called educated middle class people, that without Modi, nothing would happen in the artificial intelligence race. Modi is the designer, Modi is the programmer, Modi is the database, Modi is behind absolutely everything. The way Kim Jong-il used to be behind North Korean success. And from what I realize, what I understand, David, the Gargothria University did not even care to change the nameplate on the robot. It stayed the Chinese name. That is how fearless they are. That is how prevalent scamming and lying is in that country, that you don't even bother changing even the brand of the robot. So nothing unusual that Modi should now give her a senior post because she is such a confident liar. But my response to him is that Modi would never employ her because Modi is very afraid of competent people. Modi has surrounded himself with utterly incompetent people because he is afraid of having competent people around him. David, I have traveled a lot in China over the last 2 decades. And I tell you this thing, that very likely the subway staff, the subway security staff of China is probably better trained than the Indian armed forces. So unfortunately, that is the situation of India. And I wasn't really surprised at all that the female Chinese managed to beat Indian men in the tournament. Well, India never competes. India cannot compete with China. Anyone who uses India and China in the same sentence does not know any of these two countries. These are not comparable countries. You can use China and America in the same sentence, but you simply cannot use India and China in the same sentence. India is a wretched, poor, thoroughly corrupt country, whereas China is a rapidly emerging star, which manufactures some of the world-class equipment today. Yesterday, a friend told me that I somehow told her many decades back that Chinese produce low-quality stuff. I don't remember ever saying that. But the reality is, David, that today China produces some of the top range of high-quality, high-technology stuff. There's no way India can ever compete with China. India can only be a back office in the sense that China can send some of its low-range, low-level stuff to India and start bringing in maids and laborers from India to China for working, because China needs some human hands. So that is the only competencies India can provide. So forget about competing with China. Absolutely forget about competing with China in AI. There's no way India can ever get in a minuscule way towards in that direction.
Well, I couldn't agree more with your assertion, Jayan.
Well, so David, one way, great yardstick to understand this is to look at the maid scene in Hong Kong and Singapore. They get maids from Burma, Myanmar, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, but you will hardly ever see an Indian maid. And the reason is that Indians are not even skilled and trained to keep things clean. They can't even clean a glass properly. There will be thumbprints all over it. And that is the situation of 90, 95, 98% of Indians. People in the higher positions are even worse in many ways because they can't do any of these things, plus they can't do what they are supposed to be doing. So everything was a farce. When Modi came to the convention hall, people were locked away in rooms and thrown away out of the convention hall, which meant that literally thousands of people were locked away. People were never allowed to bring in their car keys, water bottles, laptops into the convention hall. Now, how do you operate in a modern environment when you are not allowed to bring in your car keys into the convention hall? The roads outside the conventional hall were all blocked off for VIP traffic. So that is how feudal, and you must remember how feudal that country is. So everything is dysfunctional. It actually, one has to start thinking how India manages to run with this kind of corruption and dysfunctionality. People who do businesses in India tell me that they now give away all their profits in bribes. So that is, India will fall apart. India will go back to basically animal kingdom. I think India will disintegrate. Its economy will suffer very badly. Modi is the next Kim Jong-il. He is going to really close the country up. He is going to show himself as the god of artificial intelligence, and Indians will continue to be fooled into it. And unfortunately, by doing dance and drama, you cannot improve anything, because you only distract yourself from addressing the real problem. And the real problem is the unskilled nature of the Indian society, the massive amount of corruption, the lack of values in that society. And no one is trying to correct those things. Everyone is trying to worsen those things. So India will continue to worsen, David. There's no way out of that situation.
Well, as the saying goes in America, you can't lead a horse to a lake and make him drink. If they don't want to change, then I just wish they keep the problems that I'm seeing right now here in my state, in Texas, with this fraud and massive scams by Indian nationals. It's worrisome to me. It's major worrisome. I am starting to think in terms of what will become of my state here within the next decade.
听完刚才那位专家的暴论，阿新在茶水间里其实挺感慨的。虽然他的话听起来很刻薄，甚至有点辱印，但细细品味，每一句都扎在了那个国家的死穴上。第一，关于面子与里子，印度太想赢了，也太想证明自己了。他们可以为了一个吉尼斯纪录去凑签名，可以为了峰会把人锁在屋里，可以为了 AI 大国的名头去贴牌造假。这种表演型政治，就像是一个穿着华丽长袍的人，里面却没穿底裤。正如专家所说，莫迪想当 AI 之神，但他解决不了社会技能低下的根本问题。这不仅仅是一所大学的丑闻，这是整个国家急功近利、浮躁虚荣的缩影。第二，关于中印对比的残酷真相。这几年，西方媒体很喜欢炒作龙象之争，好像印度马上就要取代中国成为世界工厂了。但现实是，连最基础的圆珠笔制造，连最基本的地铁安检素质，双方都存在着代际差。中国是在实打实的造航母、造大飞机、造机器狗，而印度呢，是在 PPT 上造梦，在推特上治国。这根本不是竞争，这是两个维度的存在。把它们放在一起比较，本身就是对工业文明的一种误解。第三，也是最让人警醒的一点，系统性失能。为什么这种一眼假的骗局能通过层层审核登上国家舞台？因为在这个系统里，没有人在乎真相，大家都在配合演戏。官员要政绩，大学要经费，民众要自豪感。当一个国家的精英阶层把聪明才智都用在了如何欺骗体制上，而不是如何解决问题上时，这个国家的未来其实已经注定了。2026年的这场机器狗闹剧或许只是一个笑话，但它背后折射出的是一个在此刻依然被封建、腐败和低效所死的庞然大物。他想飞，但还没学会走；他想弯道超车，结果直接翻进了沟里。好了，今天茶水间的深度八卦就到这里。你觉得印度的 AI 梦还能做多久？欢迎在评论区留下你的神预言。别忘了点赞、订阅阿新的茶水间，我们下期再见。